Today, my husband and son requested Navajo Tacos. This is a delicious golden fry bread with toppings. This is going to be good. For the fry bread, you'll need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Here, I'll be working with 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, and 1 cup of hot water. My husband's going to take over and he's helping me today, so he's going to add the salt and baking powder into the flour and give that a mix. You'll want to combine that. Now for the cooking oil, just add that in the center or around like he's doing. And then add the hot water into the flour mixture. And with clean hands, you'll want to combine and start to form a dough ball. He's going to just sort of mix everything around. I'm going to help him here and add the rest of the water and keep mixing, combining, and just sort of working everything together until a dough ball forms. And then once the dough ball forms like this, you'll want to be sure that you're working with a clean countertop and just remove it from the bowl and start to knead. You'll want to knead until the dough ball is combined well, until it is smooth a little bit on the surface, and then at that point you'll want to just place it right back into the bowl. Sometimes I like to divide the dough and just cover with a damp cloth and let it rest. We're going to let the dough rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. It makes it a lot easier to work with. Okay, in a pot or a pan, I'm going to turn on the heat, or my husband is, and he's going to cook 1 pound of lean ground beef. And I'm just going to season this. You can season your ground beef however you like. Use a taco seasoning mix. I'm going with some garlic powder, onion powder, maybe like a half teaspoon to a teaspoon, just to eyeball it. Here, this is like a seasoned salt, an all-purpose seasoning salt blend. You could just use regular salt. I'm also going to shake in like a teaspoon or so of fancy light chili powder, and just continue to break that apart and cook through like this. Give it a taste for seasoning, adjust to your preference, but this is done. So for the beans, we are using ranch style beans. This is going to make life a lot easier. If I had pre-cooked pinto beans, sometimes I do that for the week and put them in containers. I would use that, but today my husband wants ranch style beans. He likes these because they're seasoned, but like I said, use the boiled pinto or black beans for these Navajo tacos. It's really up to you. Okay, so I divided my dough into, let's see here, 10 dough balls. I would say for larger, thicker fry bread, you can divide this dough into maybe 6 to 8, but I'm going to press it out into a disc. You can kind of pat it between your hands, and then I just like to sort of just move it in a circle and stretch it out. If I had more experience with making fry bread, it'd probably come out a lot better, but this is what I'm working with. So in the last video that I posted for fry bread, which is a couple of years ago, a lot of people in the comment section said that I made it too thin, but then I had a lot of people saying you can make it as thin or as thick as you like. So I'm going to go with thinner ones, and you'll want to fry that in a pan with preheated cooking oil around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you'll just want to let it fry and get golden brown on each side. I'm just going to use a pair of tongs and kind of move it around the pan and let that cook through. After the first side gets golden, give it a flip and just let it cook and get a nice golden brown color on the other side. Then I'm just going to place it on some paper towels on a baking sheet and repeat the process. Okay, for comparison, I made this one thicker, and you just kind of tear holes in the center, or you can poke holes in the center, and just carefully or gently lay this right into the preheated cooking oil. And this one will be a lot thicker. And like I said, from my last recipe video for fry bread, I had a lot of comments kind of guiding me and telling me, you know, it really is up to you if you want it thick or if you want it thin. So there's that. Okay, So those are ready. Now I'm going to start building my Navajo taco. I've got my ground beef. I've got my pinto beans. These are ranch style beans. And I've got my toppings of lettuce, onion, tomato, and shredded sharp cheddar cheese. You could do sour cream and salsa. Sometimes I make fry bread and I top it with chicken tinga. That's really good. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to make this today. So I like to top with the pinto beans, and sometimes I skip on the beans if I just don't have beans, but today my husband wanted ranch style beans, so here we are. And there are several videos that you probably could find across social media for a super traditional Navajo taco, but I've also seen lots of videos where they get really creative with the toppings. I've even seen dessert ones, but this is kind of like the go-to one that I do in my home. Okay, so beans, ground beef, shredded cheese, lettuce. I'm going to add some onion and tomato. And I'm going to top with some Mexican crema, or you can use sour cream. And this is the Navajo taco. This is what's for dinner today. My family's super excited. They love Navajo tacos. And now it's time to dig in. So I'm just going to tear off just a piece and just kind of scoop up some of those toppings. Use clean hands. You could use a fork. It's up to you. And just dig in. It's so good. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it. And thanks for watching.